Hello, and welcome to RIME Entertainment Showcase with your hosts, Rita and Mel.
Hi everyone, welcome to RIME Entertainment Showcase. It's already October.
October it is.
2 months till the end of the year, and I think
she
again...
keeps doing that every time, reminding us.
Well, yeah, because it's a fact. There's 2 months to the end of the year.
But anyway, let's tell them about our special guest.
Right, so Bracha Goetz is an author based in Baltimore in the United States. She is inspiring us, again, another inspirational
Always
guest,
inspiration.
About her journey into writing books for children, and also her latest book, Searching for God in the Garbage, is an adult book. Adult book? No, it's a book written for adults. It's a memoir. That really did change the genre. No, she's still inspiring within all of her books so far. Definitely. So, again, make sure you watch the interview.
Yeah, and again, pen and paper is always a must for our interviews.
Definitely take those notes.
See you after the interview. Bye.
Hi everyone, and welcome to RIME Entertainment Showcase. Today we have writer and author Bracha Goetz from Baltimore in the United States. Welcome to the show, Bracha.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here with you.
It's our pleasure.
Yeah, definitely. So, how did you discover your passion for writing?
Yes, I think as a child, I loved to write. And I remember that in elementary school, do you call it elementary school or lower school? What do you call it?
Primary over here.
Primary, that's it. Yes, I remember them reading a poem that I wrote to all the parents, all the students. It was about how books can change your life, how you could travel around the world with a book, just sitting in your room. And that really became, I would say, a foreshadowing of my whole life. That's the direction that I went in. Even as like a little third grader, I was fascinated by the imagination and where a book could take you, where a book could take anybody. Yeah.
Did you have a particular favorite book as you were growing up?
Yes, I love Dr. Seuss. I love it. And I think that my children's books take off from Dr. Seuss very much. There's a difference between, my books are very message books. They're very, they are about very deep concepts that I try to explain in a very simple, joyful way. But in a way, I think that Dr. Seuss was doing that too. Not always. Sometimes his books were like Cat in the Hat were just a blast. Yeah. They're fantastic. Yeah. But other books are a little bit deeper, and I love putting deep messages into my little children's books, and that is my joy in life, to say things in the most simple way possible. That's what I love to do, and that's what my favorite books are still children's books. Like, I'm just drawn to reading children's books. No matter how old I get, those are my favorite books.
Yeah. And you probably find as well, children help you learn more about yourself as well. So it's the best combination.
Exactly. From raising children, I could get into the psychology of what do children need. Mm-hmm. And also, I'm writing the books for myself because I always was looking for spiritual understandings. Well, I would say from age 12 on, I was looking for spiritual understandings of life. So I'm writing about really deep spiritual concepts in such a simple way that even a child can understand them. So these are the books I wish I had as a child. Those are the kind of books that I'm writing. And I would love to share a quote from Kurt Vonnegut, which I think explains what it's like to be a writer. When I write, this is what he wrote: when I write, I feel like an armless, legless man with a crayon in his mouth. That's how it feels. It's just coming out. And there's one other amazing quote which describes what it feels like to me. This quote, it's anonymous. I don't know who wrote this, but this is exactly it. Writing is easy. You just open a vein and bleed. That is, it sounds horrible, but what it is something, it's coming from the depths of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when a person is a writer or an artist in any form, it's even more than a calling. You can't help but do it. It's like, it's just what comes out, and it's your soul speaking. That's really what's going on. Yeah.
I really love that, because it's true. It's just coming from you. You're sharing a piece of yourself. And I think we've had some previous guests as well that have said the same thing. And I love that this is a common message throughout the show so far, is that you are giving a piece of you to the world. And if you're giving that to children or adults, whoever you write for, that's amazing.
Yeah. Exactly. It's almost impossible not to do it, you know, because this is who you are. Well, this book I wrote, this is my only book for adults. It's my memoir, Searching for God in the Garbage. And the point is that we get lots of garbage piled on top of our souls throughout our lives.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that can prevent us from, that can prevent our souls from shining with what we have to offer the world. So the trick is to nourish our souls, and that melts away the garbage. When we nourish our souls, that's what gets rid of. So in other words, we have the power to do that. We can, the more we nourish our souls, the more we can get rid of all the garbage that's blocking us from shining in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Moving on, because you said that this book now is for adults. How different is it from writing for children to writing for adults? Is there any similarities, or talk us through?
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't enjoy writing for adults. I really enjoy writing for children. So this book, my memoir, I didn't write it. It wrote itself. That's what happened here. I like writing short things. I don't like writing long. I don't like using a lot of words. It's really funny because I went to Harvard University. I graduated from Harvard, and people think I must be a real intellectual. The truth is, I don't like using lots of big words.
Yeah,
don't blame you. Yeah.
It's great. Yeah, I love it.
Yes, I like to express an idea in the simplest way possible, in the smallest amount of words. So really, I'm a poet. You know, that's what my books are. Poetry. They're getting to the core of an idea. So this book for adults, what it is I found my old diaries, I found my old journals and letters, and when I discovered them, it gave me such an amazing insight. It was like, here's a big word. It was an epiphany that happened when I found them. I saw the thread that was going through my whole life, and I realized I had to put it into a memoir. So I just basically compiled them into a memoir, writing a few things to connect the dots.
Yeah.
And the book explains the crazy, amazing path that my life took, because it was nothing normal that happened. And it's basically 20 years from age 12 to 32, my journey, my discoveries. And at the end of the book, when I was putting it together, is when I call it a psychological mystery, because that's when I understood how the path of my life went from putting the book together. So basically, I don't enjoy writing for adults, but once in a while, I have to write an article if nobody else is writing it. Because I feel this has to be said in the world. And if no one else is going to say it, I have to write the article. So I write it. It's not my best kind of writing, I feel, but I just do it so that the message is out there in the world.
Yes.
And so I've written articles about abuse, prevention of sexual abuse of children, and I've written children's books on that subject as well. And I really didn't want to write these articles, but nobody else was doing it at the time, so I did it. And that's basically it's like it's like you feel you have to write something. That's when I can't stop doing it, I do it. But otherwise, I'd prefer to write books for children because I feel that's my essence, that I have this sense of wonder and discovery that I love to learn about the world still, always. And that's what I love to share with children. Yeah.
That's beautiful, because a lot of us, as we get older, we tend to lose sight of that wonderment, that awe of life, and that playfulness as well. And I love the fact that you still, you still tap into that and you share that with the world. Do you think, though, in terms of writing, obviously, like for children, do you find that maybe in the simplified way that you write your books, that maybe some adult books like that you could write in the same way for adults, that adults would appreciate it?
I would appreciate it. As an adult, I would think I'd pick up those books and get more from it than reading a whole novel of what to do and what not to do.
It's so true. I mean, again, when I was at Harvard, they assigned us lots of books to read, and I didn't read them. I'm a slow reader as it is, so I didn't read. I'd read the beginning and the end, and then I'd read someplace in the middle, and I'd get the idea of what the whole book was about. And this is who I am. I don't want to waste a lot of time reading lots and lots of words. I just want to get the point out. So will I ever write a book? I mean, children that grew up on my books, they always ask me, can you write chapter books for us now? And I'm going, that's not me. Somebody else is going to write these chapter books, I mean, this memoir that I wrote, I don't know if I'll ever write another book for adults. It said everything I want to say. And I mean, maybe, of course, there'll be more to say, and maybe I'll expand on those ideas. But basically, I just love writing things short, concise, get the point out into the world. And of course, the parents are reading the books to the children too, so they're definitely absorbing it. And many times parents come up to me and go, this book was really for me, I gained so much from it and stuff like that. So I'm writing for everybody, but it's always in a childlike kind of way. That's how I do it. Yeah.
You mentioned where you wrote books for children around abuse. How do you make sure you've got that balance between, of course, not getting too heavy, but still trying to make it lighthearted? How does that work?
Exactly. In one of the books, I talked about all types of ways to stay safe, and I put the part about the sexual abuse in the middle of the book, just normalizing it. It's just another safety measure that needs to be done, and that created a sense of calm of parents talking to their children about it. And another book, it was a different style, and just in a very calm way explaining to children about how precious their own bodies are, and how privacy is important, and how we keep other things that we want to keep safe, how we take good care of them, and the same with our bodies. And that was the focus of that book, again in a very positive way, to explain to children about these really important issues. And I feel that these are spiritual books too, because these books help to guard our souls. If there is a part of us, and this is something I try to explain many times, and I've written articles about this, even if a child has gone through abuse in their childhood or neglect, and their souls are in certain ways tarnished, there's a certain pure part of their soul that remains pure no matter what. And that's the part that we need to nourish, and it's always there. There's a resilience, an amazing resilience in the spirit of people that can always be accessed. And so I'm writing to my books are to help nourish that part of the soul that can still be revived and have resilience to shine again. Yes.
100% agree with that.
So a lot of your books, if not all of them, are picture books. Do you get the vision to for the pictures as you're writing, or how does that evolve? How do you pull it together?
great question. I have some ideas in my head, but I love when the illustrators take it way beyond what I ever imagined. I'm going to hold up some books. Here we see a book. I love this. I think this was hysterical how the illustrator illustrated. Here we're going to see a different one. I love this. This is done very old-fashioned type of illustrations, and I love it. I don't know. I'm just wild about the illustrations in this book. And here's one. Wait till you see this. This is called The Invisible Book. Now, how do you illustrate an invisible book? That was a real challenge, and the illustrator did a phenomenal job. I couldn't even imagine what to do, and the illustrator did it. It just came out so well. What the concept of the invisible book, again, it's a spiritual book, showing that there's so many things that we believe in that are invisible. Air and wind are invisible, and so is gravity. I go when I perform this book, I go, and so is gravity. And then the book falls, and I go like, why did the book fall? There's an invisible force that's pulling the book. When I let go of it, it just pulls it to the earth. We all believe in gravity, and yet it's invisible. And then I show them magnets, and they pick up paper clips. It's an invisible force. It's called electromagnetism, and it's invisible, and we all believe in it. And then there's feelings and thoughts, and they're invisible, and we all believe in them. So how is this possible? All these things have a powerful effect on our lives. And so it's the effect of them that gets us to believe in these invisible things. And so I say it's the same thing with our souls. We can't see our souls, and yet they have a tremendous, powerful effect on our lives. So that's how I'm bringing up spiritual concepts on a concrete level that children can understand them. That's my goal. And that's exactly what I feel one of my main purposes in life is to explain that we're spiritual beings housed in physical bodies. And that's the focus.
Oh, I really wish that you were there when I was growing up in school. There's so much that I see, even from the lessons that we got growing up, that we could have done with this. This would have really, sorted
But
us out.
there's always a perfect timing, and especially now, there's a lot going on in the world, and I think children need that support and need books like what you're writing.
Exactly. There's such a need for spiritual awareness because we go about our lives with this dichotomy. If we feel like we see a physical world, and so how can we believe that there's all these spiritual forces working behind the scenes? It's a constant challenge in life to regain awareness of our spirituality. And when children can get it from early on, that's my goal, then their whole lives will be infused with much more joy. I teach about happiness skills, how to get happiness skills from early on in life so that our whole lives are enriched by joy.
That's amazing. That's really beautiful.
And I also love the fact that you're working with illustrators who are able to bring that out in the pictures. And I think that just makes it a lot easier for you in that sense, in terms of bringing the book together. So
exactly. And I'm an artist too. Like, I love to draw. I'm constantly drawing creatures all over everything I write, but I don't feel like my artwork is good enough to illustrate my own books. So I'm still always using illustrators, unless I write such a simple book that I could use my creatures in it that it fits. So far, I haven't done that. It's all amazing illustrators that make the words come alive. Exactly.
Right. So in terms of, you mentioned where you've attended readings as well, where you've read books to children. So where you've actually attended schools, what is the reaction like from like the teachers and the kids, and if their parents attend as well? How does that feel for you?
I love doing presentations in schools. I do it from ages 2 up to I do it at senior centers. I do it for elderly people. I do it, like I say, from age 2 to 102, basically. I love it, and of course the reactions are completely different. And once I was reading my children's books to a high school class, and I love, my favorite part is the Q&A at the end. And when one of the students said to me, "What is your favorite part of being an author?" And I said, "This moment, it really is. It's when they ask me these questions and I get to interact, and I meet people that have read my book when they were younger and how it affected their life." One young man, he was in his 20s, and he told me how when he read one of my books, he was being bullied in school, and the book is The Happiness Box, and he'd go inside the happiness box, and he'd get back the joy to be able to face another day of school, and it gave him the strength to override the bullies. It was like, I loved hearing these things, when I get feedback. And then I hear of people, I actually heard of people whose lives were saved by the books about prevention of abuse, how they were able to avoid perpetrators because they knew how to respond, how to get away, how to report. It's like, this makes my soul shine when I hear how it helps other souls to shine. So yeah, giving presentations is one of the biggest joys. And now, since the pandemic, I've been doing it online, and I've been Zooming to countries around the world, which I love. And I had never been to Africa until now. This was so great. I was reading to hundreds of children in Africa, and that was just a tremendous thrill, because it's something I've never been able to do until this happened. So this is giving me the opportunity now to meet with you in England, in the United Kingdom, and I love it. This is the blessing that comes from, all the difficult parts that we get to Zoom, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I think
I sit here and Zoom around the world, which I love.
I think what it reminds me of is what we discussed earlier when you were saying about how the imagination and how it's so open and you can go to different parts of the world in our imagination. But now, thankfully, through Zoom, we can actually interact with people in different countries.
Beautifully described. The only thing we can't do yet is go to different time periods, but maybe that will happen too.
I'm pretty sure that will.
With our imaginations, we could still go to the past and the future, So maybe that's coming up soon also,
Absolutely. Well, so far we have the power of film that takes us there, so that's okay. It's a stepping stone.
And books. Yes.
Yeah. So moving on to your actual inspiration of writing, how do you stay inspired, and do you ever have writer's block?
Not really, because I'm not the type that writes every day. I only write when I have to. That's it. It just pours out.
Yeah.
But how do I stay inspired? Everybody gets rejections. Everybody gets rejections. And how do you get inspired to keep sending out your writing? My what I suggest to people is do it right away. When you get a rejection, send it out again. And that way you don't lose the momentum. You just keep going. Don't take it personally. Just try again, or try a different type of magazine or newspaper or publisher, however you're trying. Try a different angle. I've had a lot of success with small publishers as opposed to big publishers. If you find a certain niche, I think that's something that I recommend a lot. So I stay inspired also from reactions that I get when people tell me how the book has affected their life. That very much inspires me. But I say to people that have a book in their minds, Oh, this is something I love to tell people. Many people I meet when I go around were telling me that they have books in their heads. And I say, this is how long it takes to write a book. A children's book, it takes 20 years and 20 minutes. It takes 20 years till you actually sit down and put the thing on paper that you've had in your head, because people just procrastinate about doing it. And then it takes 20 minutes to get the first draft of a children's book on paper so you know where you're going. It really is like that. So I encourage everybody to just do it. And one of the times that I love to write is when I'm traveling someplace, on a plane, on a train, on a bus, or when I'm a passenger in a car. Somehow, I don't know, it's the movement that gets me to play around with the words. It's almost like, let's say I write an idea down right when it comes to me. I sometimes grab it on a napkin, or wherever I'm doing dishes, I write down the idea. Of course, the most important time when it comes is, I encourage writers to always have a pad and a pen by their bed, because the early morning is when the neurons get together and ideas just come flowing out. It's like all night long it was something, and it coalesces in the morning and you have a bright new idea. So grab it and scribble it. Half the time I don't even know what I've scribbled because I'm writing in the dark. But like, I have to sit there in the morning, what was it I wrote? And then I figure it out, you know. And so always be ready for the idea. But when do these ideas, sometimes I have so many other things to do that I don't feel like writing the book right then, or even playing around with it. So when I go on a trip, I have a list of ideas that I've come up with. I take the idea, and then I feel I'm not wasting any time. I'm just going to sit here and play around with the idea. And so I do that. And once I was going to give a presentation in a different state, I took a bus there. I wrote one book on the way there and another book on the way back.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, these books don't take long. You know, these are picture books. So it's, and the funny part was, on the book I wrote on the way there, when I got to the children, and I met with the middle school children, I was able to ask them questions to help me finish up the book. Like, I remember saying I met with, it was a class of middle school boys, and then how do you call middle school? Junior? How do you call?
How old are we talking?
Like, they're like not yet high school, the grades before high school.
Okay, so juniors. Yeah, we'll call them juniors.
Juniors.
Yeah.
Right. So I met with these juniors and I asked them, it was really funny. I met with a bunch of boys and a bunch of girl classes. And I asked them, what do children do in the classroom? Another child, what could they do that could really annoy you? Because I was working on a book and getting along with people. And it was really funny. The girls just sat there and no one had anything to tell me. And the boys had tons of things to tell me how to annoy another student in the class. It was really funny. And I was able to use their ideas. And then I finished up that book because they gave me great insights into how they could, you know, poke a pencil, whatever they do to like annoy someone sitting in front of them or around them. And that was a really great experience. So that's, I always encourage people, if you're doing nothing, that's a great time to sit around and play around with the book. Always play. Don't take it too seriously. I think that's what could cause writer's block, when you're working too hard on something. So the idea of play gets, you know, the correct hemisphere in gear too, so you can just flow in all kinds of amazing directions. And some will be wrong turns and it won't matter, and you can cross it all out and go in a whole nother direction, and you're not wasting anything, you're just having fun. So I encourage people to enjoy the process. Yeah.
And I think also with writer's block, it's because of that increased resistance. And like you were saying, if you don't play enough or just have fun with it, you're just going to create more of a block, and then you'll never be able to kind of get out of it. So you just need to enjoy each moment as it comes, and just use that as your creativity. Yeah,
exactly. And take breaks when you're stuck on editing something. After I write it, then I work on editing it, and then if I can't get the right word, just take a break and you'll see what can flow. Get the juices flowing more. Of course, dancing and exercise helps so much to
Yeah.
get the juices flowing and the creativity going. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Amazing.
How important is it to have a team of support and also family support for a writer?
That is a great question. I'm so grateful to my husband for being a grounded kind of person, and he pays the bills so that I can like fly around and with my imagination, and he appreciates the playfulness that I bring in, you know, and he appreciates being able to soar with me. And it's a fantastic balance. I mean, he's a person that also loves to soar, but I appreciate that he enjoys all the grounded kind of work that he does. And so the support from my husband has been phenomenal through the years. Yes. It encouraged me to be creative. Yeah, very much.
Do you, I mean, because obviously I know with writing, it can be quite, you know, you're in your own world. A lot of writers out there, even when you see it in films, you see they portray the writer got to have that alone time and focus.
Everything's dark.
What would you say to writers who are actually in that space of being alone and obviously finding it difficult to socialize because they feel that pressure of, no, but my publisher says I need to get this out? What would you say to them, those that are struggling but feeling that pressure from publishers and people who are saying, get this out, get your next book out?
Yes, interesting. I'm an introvert, and I think most writers are introverts. I get energy being by myself. I love it, you know, because there's such a rich world going on inside my head. Like it's like a pleasure to spend time just on my own, you know, integrating everything. Wait, I just lost what the question was again.
For those that struggle with the pressure of having
right. I hate pressure. So I don't work under deadline. Honestly, I don't enjoy any of that. And I'm such a much more of a free flowing spirit kind of person. So I'm not the type that works well under deadline. I think I try to avoid it, you know. So I guess I can't really answer that question because I just write when I feel like it. I'm not the type that is working. And it wasn't. I had a day job always. You know, I wasn't. This isn't what I was doing, like really to make a lot of money. It's more what I do because it brings so much pleasure to my soul, and I love bringing pleasure to other people through it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Great. So you mentioned one tip earlier about, you know, if you face the rejection, just keep on at it and just go in and try a different publisher or a different magazine. So do you have any further tips for writers who are struggling to make that break or really trying to make it happen for them?
Yes, I really do. So important. I try to share this with as many people as possible. I would say about once or twice a week, people contact me about getting published. And I love helping people. I direct them like where to go, who to contact based on my own experience. And what's become very big now is self-publishing. But I tried, and people always ask me about self-publishing. I have never self-published. So it's not in my experience, but this is what I can tell people. Anyone that's interested in self-publishing, they have to know that they have to be a salesperson. They have to enjoy being a business person because that's what they're going to be doing. It's not like once the book is published, that's the end of it. That's the beginning. That is the beginning, because then I don't like the word promote your book. You're letting people know about your book, and that you can do for the rest of your life. And here's the secret. The secret is you have to enjoy that process too if you want your books to really get out there. If you enjoy selling your book, if you enjoy letting people know about your book, then it'll never be work, and you could do that forever. If you're the kind of person that enjoys doing it, then you could go ahead and self-publish. And you can even self-publish for free on Amazon. I have friends that have done that, and they have Kindle books, and you can self-publish that way. I haven't done that because I enjoy that. My publishers have distributors to bookstores, and they get the book out there. But I still enjoy the process. Obviously, that's why I'm here today. Letting people know about my books and my work is a big thrill for me. And I enjoy getting to meet people doing it this way. And how else will they know about your book? People think like when they make a website or they write a book that everyone will just come and find out about it, but nobody will.
Yeah.
It just involves going out and sharing. And if you don't enjoy sharing, well, I mean, if you enjoy publishing a book for your own sake, then go ahead and do it. And if you just want it for your friends and family, fine. But if you really want them to get a message out into the world, then you really have to invest time, not necessarily money. You have to invest time or money doing that. And for me, I really haven't invested money in letting people know about my book. I actually make money from my books, but it's not like I make a fortune. I still had a day job, up until now. I was working on a day job until now. So and that's with 38 books. You know what I mean? So I'm saying it's still, it's very rare to be a tremendous bestseller that a person can make millions of dollars. And that's my most important tip, to be realistic. If you're going to invest money in publishing a book, you really can't expect to get that money back. You can, but go ahead and do it if you enjoy it. If you enjoy investing money in your book, and then that's wonderful. But be realistic about the fact that many people have these dreams of becoming like a millionaire. That's really not a realistic dream from a book. But you'll never waste a moment if you enjoy the process of writing the book and publicizing the book. Then there's nothing to lose. So if you are realistic about not making yourself miserable during the process and enjoying it, then I think it's a wonderful, wonderful way to go. There's absolutely nothing to lose. Those are my main tips that I really try to get across to people.
Yeah. And I think you've mentioned something really important there. It is about enjoying the journey, enjoying what you're doing, and let your passion speak for your talent. And as you said, it's not about the money you earn, it's about the message you're getting out there and being heart-centered in everything you do. So I think that's the beautiful message that we're hearing today.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And a person could do whatever they want, as their day job, and still have time to write their book. That, one thing doesn't cancel out the other. It's essential, but a person can be really miserable if they're not nourishing their soul. So I encourage everybody to do that. Follow your dreams, but be realistic. Don't be saying, I'll be happy if I become famous. And that's what this book is about. That's exactly what I wrote about. I Want to Be Famous is about a boy who, so many children just want to be famous. And this boy becomes famous. He fulfills his dream. He becomes famous overnight because somebody takes a YouTube video of him. This could happen to anybody. They can have their 15 minutes of fame very easily nowadays, He becomes famous and he's loving it. But then what happens with fame? It doesn't last. It goes away really quickly. And then he discovers there's a way to be in the spotlight forever, and that's by making your soul shine. Then you will never, you can be happy all your days if you are fulfilling your missions in life, if you are nourishing your soul and letting it shine into the world. So that's what I encourage people. When that boy discovers that he doesn't need the spotlight from outside anymore. He has the inner validation, and that's what we all need. We all need to acknowledge that if we're here, we're needed in the world, and we're needed to express our uniquely beautiful souls in this world. Yeah.
I think that that's so encouraging, because there are so many people who are working a day job and have that ambition to, I mean, you know, be it an actor, be it a filmmaker, musician, writer, and they can get frustrated with, well, I want to do what I do full time. But if I always say to them, you know, do what you can for what you love and what you're passionate about, as well as your day job, and you will, you know, you'll get through it because you're still serving your passion. You're not letting that go. So that's the kind of message. And it's refreshing to hear that. I think a lot of people would benefit.
Exactly. I worked part-time for 20 years. I was coordinating a big brother, big sister program, which was extremely fulfilling for me to do. But I also had another creative side, and I spent the other time writing, which I love to do. So that's how I balanced it. And I enjoyed the two things very much together. You know, that's exactly how my life was.
And I think it's just about having that balance, and like you said, being realistic with that balance, and and it will all just come together. I think it's been absolutely such a beautiful message that you've brought to us, Bracha.
Oh, thank you.
If
a person's working as a waitress, whether they're working in maintenance, whatever they're doing, you will learn about the world. You'll get insights that you could share in your writing or in your films, whatever you're doing. Every job is valuable and can help you to further express your soul in this world. Yes.
It's funny you should say that, because I did a live on a platform this last week, and I mentioned about the fact of what I learned when I was in my day jobs, and one of them being leadership and team leading. And that is such a skill that helped me now running my business and us running RIME. So it's like, you know, we still can learn from our day jobs and still take that and bring it into what we're passionate about. So
exactly.
That's great.
Outstanding. So Bracha, now moving on to your books. Where can our viewers find your books and buy them?
Okay, right. They're in stores, they're in libraries, and also they're all on my Amazon author page. So they're all 38 books are in one spot on the Bracha Goetz Amazon author page, which is the easiest way to find all of them.
We'll provide those details in the description as well, so they know where to go. Amazing stuff.
And what is your final message that you would like to share with our viewers today, Bracha?
I'm going to share a quote. No matter who you are, no matter how old you are, the challenge is the same. How do we turn our focus away from the glittering gift wrap that we think is us and focus instead on the jewel inside? The jewels we really are. Every one of us is a diamond, or there's a diamond in there. It sometimes needs to be polished, you know, and that's what life does to us. But it's in there, and everybody is here to shine. I also have there's a message on my fridge. It says, here is a test to find out if your mission in life is complete. If you're alive, it isn't. So we're all here with not just one mission, many missions. We're all here to not see through each other, but to see each other through. We're all here to help each other, and so it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure for me to be with you, and I appreciate what you're doing in helping people to fulfill their passions in life. It's just essential for us to. I describe my books as books that help children's souls to shine, and thank you for helping all these passionate talented, creative people to shine.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thanks. Believe me, the inspiration comes to us through you guys, so we can only thank you, our previous guests and guests to come on the show. So thank you again.
Bracha, it's been a pleasure having you as our guest today.
Thank you.
An inspiring interview, and you really touched on a lot of areas that will help a lot of our viewers out there. So thank you once again.
Thank you so much.
So that was inspiring yet again.
Inspiring, encouraging, and
great
definitely
insight into living your passion.
And just going with the flow. Enjoying.
No matter what the situation is.
Yes, whether you're still in a 9 to 5, you can still do what you love. Again, it's about maybe having a timetable so you can factor in what you love as well, but just going with it. And I think that's what
enjoying the journey.
The actual flowing sense of being able to just go with it and get that insight right and put all your thoughts down. Again, I'm pretty sure you took a lot of notes today.
Better. But then you can watch
it's like a threat, but
but you can watch it over and over
exactly.
again.
It's on YouTube, or if you're listening to it on podcasts, rewind, listen to it again, take some notes down. Don't forget, you can hear more and learn more about Bracha. Head on to her Amazon author site, and again, details are below in the description. And also, we're just we need a bit of music here, because I just feel like we're in time and we're in rhythm. But anyway, you can also follow us. So head over to Instagram, follow us on @RIME Entertainment Official, or you can follow us on our other Instagram account, which is @sisters_in_rhyme. And how do we spell rhyme? RIME. What are we gonna say? Ciao for now. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed the show. Stay tuned for more RIME Entertainment Showcase.